Dinosaurs are awesome. Those radical reptiles dominated the Earth for 177 million years with their primal might. Shoot 'em ups are also awesome, letting you feel the exhilaration of dodging the rock that killed the dinosaurs. When you get a classy company like SNK to slam the two together, you get Prehistoric Isle. No, this is not Japanese Jurassic Park. This came out much earlier. When a search and rescue mission reveals a mysterious island in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle, standard procedure becomes a full-blown war between two super biplanes and thousands of furious fossils. Any sane pilot would have turned tail and ran, but you and your friend, if you have one, won't even think about letting one of the displaced dinosaurs trample modern society.
They should all be destroyed.
The 3-screen tall T-Rex, the Flintstones riding giant bats, and, awesomely enough, a gorilla-sized whale, an actual Gojira. If the extra critters beyond the dinosaurs weren't a giveaway, this is a clear tribute to Japanese monster movies, giving you a shot at sinking Godzilla's island to make these terrible titans extinct all over again. All illustrated with meticulous care by the best artists in the business. It's one of the most unsung additions to the SNK 40th Anniversary Pack, alongside many other interesting games I may review in the future. I'll premise this bombastic deserves fine gameplay for complete enjoyment. Thankfully, SNK delivered where it mattered most. Your basic movement is mostly responsive, which is the least anyone can ask out of a good game. On rare occasions, there will be a frame or two of lag before you reposition. You're not expected to micro-dodge without warning, so it's not a big deal. As for self-defense, you start each life with a passable machine gun, but it's never long before you're supplied with a mountable drone, unlocking a stash of strategy at your fingertips. With the second button, this drone can be spun around your ship to absorb bullets and attack in all 8 directions with 5 unique weapons tied to different positions. Continuing to collect power makes all the shots bigger and flashier until it maxes out at upgrade 4, making you the apex predator running victory laps around Godzilla. You can't let your head swell for too long though. The drone will deteriorate if it takes too much fire, eventually blowing up and knocking you back to the bare minimum. Thus, this is one of the few shooters that encourages you to avoid indulging in power-ups, saving some to repair your drone if it's banged up. Getting one restores the drone back to full health. It's a game mechanic that suits the philosophy the rest of the game follows. Make the best use of these tools prescribed to you to repel the dinosaurs constantly assaulting you, and commit your strategy to memory to achieve consistent victory. If that doesn't satisfy you, the game's polished off with a basic risk over reward scoring system, giving the game some replayability beyond its awe factor. Whenever cold hard cash appears on the screen, it increases in value if you don't collect it right away, going from 100 to 1,000 if left uncollected long enough. That's the game. It's pretty straightforward. Now, knowing the gameplay loop, you might be thinking to yourself, gee, this sounds awfully familiar. Isn't this like R-Type? It is! You'd be correct! Just like monster movies providing the artists a source of inspiration, the game designers took notes from 1987's Game of the Year to make a solid shooter without blatantly plagiarizing it. The time period the game's set in, alongside the different rules, give Prehistoric Isle its own legs to stand on without mooching everything from R-Type. Heck, it would take IREM 4 more years before they figured out how to incorporate 2 players at once in the R-Type series. Throwing a little bit of Twinbee into the mix, as your special weapons can bounce off the other player's plane, leading to many possible fire formations. I rest my case. Prehistoric Isle has a distinct identity. While I adore the dino demolition on offer, the game has some glaring balance issues that prevent it from being perfect. And it's exactly what you'd expect out of an earlier shoot-'em-up. Lopsided death recoveries. Your default speed on a new life is too slow on purpose. That's not an opinion. That's a fact when you reach the last fifth of the game. If you lose your speed-ups while you're up against this stupid ammonite, it's literally impossible to avoid getting grabbed by its tentacles, and that applies to every boss afterwards too. Obviously, this was done to gouge money out of experienced players that could play for 17 minutes on one coin, but it's detrimental to the game's enjoyment, especially after the likes of R-Type, which always gave you what you needed to pass its checkpoints. R-Type punished you severely for dying, but at least you could escape the death loop rather than being out of luck past a certain point. Despite everything I just said, SNK resisted the temptation to quarter gouge until the very end. 80% of the game allows leeway for mistakes, but the last 20% still sticks out like a sore thumb. With its biggest flaw criticized, my final verdict on Prehistoric Isle is an A-. If your starting speed were a few notches faster, I would have given it an A+. But mistakes are how we figure out peak game design. While the credits are rolling, I should also mention the game's ending carries more weight than your average video game ending. You might want to keep your eyes peeled for an extra video about SNK in the future. I'm signing off for now, though. Peace and long life, everyone!